Hi friends, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And what I have for you today are 10 film recommendations. Now these are movies that I just randomly picked off my shelves, and these are movies that I have either not spoken about before, or if I have spoken about them, it's been quite a while and I thought I'd bring them up again. And my hope is that each of you will be able to find something, at least one title, if not more, that you are interested in or maybe haven't seen before and it sounds interesting to you. Again, as always, I will keep my synopsises brief and spoiler free because I never want to ruin your first time watch experience with any movie. I'm going to get right into it with my first film. This is from 2003, and I've had it in my collection for about 2 years, and I finally got around to watching it, and I loved it. And it is a family-friendly film. It's rated PG, but it is so much fun. It's so good. It stars Michael Caine, Robert Duvall, and Haley Joel Osment in Secondhand Lions. And if you haven't seen this one, put it high on your list because it is a winner. And Haley Joel Osment plays 14-year-old Walter, who is being sent to live with his two great uncles who he's never met for the summer. And his uncles are Michael Caine and Robert Duvall. His mother is played by Kira Sedgwick, and she tells him that she is going to be studying at some college for the summer so that she can make a better life for them, when in fact she's really going to Vegas to party and look for a new husband. But the kid doesn't know that, and he gets dumped off on this like rundown old farm with these two guys that he's never met. They sit on the porch with shotguns. If anyone comes up, the first thing they do is pull their shotguns out because they don't want to be bothered. And the kid asks if he can go watch TV. They don't have a TV. He says, "Can I call my mom? We don't have a phone." And he's just kind of sitting on the front porch, and he's thinking to himself, he's like, what am I going to do? How am I going to survive this summer? And what ends up happening, I'm just going to keep it brief, but what ends up happening is as time goes on, he gets to know his great uncles through these wild stories that they tell him about all their adventures that they had together when they were younger and things they did together and all these wild stories about their lives before they settled down on this rickety old farm. And as time goes on, a certain family members show up again unannounced, and they allude to the fact that like there's these rumors that there's millions of dollars hidden around this rundown old farm, and they're hoping he can find it, and you know, all kinds of things are going on, and people are just showing up left and right, and the first thing that happens is the shotguns come out and they take off running for the hills. But this is so much good. It's got a lot of heart. It has funny moments, it has heartfelt moments, and it really is a testament to the bond between family members if you are given the time to get to know them and if you accept them where they are and for who they are. And it's a really, really amazing, beautiful story, and it had me laughing and it hit me in all the feels, and I just think this is a fantastic movie. So if you haven't seen Secondhand Lions, check it out, and if you have seen it, watch it again because it's a really great film. Now this next one, I have talked about this before in the past because I love this movie, and it is based on true events that happened in South Korea in 1980. And this is called A Taxi Driver. It's in Korean with English subtitles. And one of the things I'll tell you about this is when it did do a short, it was in the movies for a little bit, limited run, but a lot of people skipped over it because they say the movie art, the cover art, is the worst they've ever seen. Look at that cover art. And let me tell you, this in no way depicts the content of the movie, because the movie is anything but funny. I mean, there were some funny moments in the beginning, but this is a very serious movie about a very serious event that happened in South Korea in 1980. So we have this cab driver, and he's a widower, and he is living alone with his young daughter, and he drives a cab just to make ends meet and take care of his daughter and keep a roof over their head. He's behind on his bills, he's struggling, and he's just having a hard time trying to make ends meet. When one day he gets an opportunity to take this fare, who happens to be a journalist, a German journalist, from Seoul in South Korea down to another town, Gwangju. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right, so I'm going to just put the name of the town down here because it is really where these events happen. But he gets, it's like 100,000 won, however much money that is, but it's a good sum of money. And he jumps on it right away. He's like, sure, I'll drive you. The thing is, he wants, the journalist wants him to drive him down, let him hang out there for the day, do what he needs to do, and get him back. And he says, fine, I'll do it. And he takes him down there. And as they're going through this town, he's noticing there's roadblocks, there's detours, there's all these things going on. And when they get down there to the actual location where this journalist wants to go, they find out that there has been like a military government set up where the military is in charge of the area, and there is a civilian uprising in protest of this military takeover of the area, and there is some serious things going on, and he is immediately terrified because he realizes he's in way over his head, and all he's worried about is how he's going to get back home to his young daughter who is home, left home alone, and there's no one to care for her. And this is their story about what happened that day with those events going on, and it's amazing. It's a really, really amazing story, and it even had me researching the events that took place during that time period, and it's pretty amazing. I think you'll be blown away by it. And this is from Wellgo USA, and they're usually really on point, in my opinion, with the movies they put out, and this one's no exception. So if you get a chance, check out A Taxi Driver. And this one's from another line that I really love. It's the Sony Picture Classics line. I'm never disappointed by them. And this one stars Lily Tomlin, Julia Garner, who, if you are a fan of the series Ozark, you know her, and Marcia Gay Harden. And what we have is Julia Garner, who plays a young gal by the name of Sage. And Sage is finding herself in a situation where she has a guy she's seeing who she says is kind of her boyfriend, and she is pregnant, and she needs not to be. So she can't go to her mother, who is Marcia Gay Harden, so she goes to her grandmother, played by Lily Tomlin. Now, Lily Tomlin is the mother of she's the mother of Sage's mom, and they are estranged. They don't really bother with each other because Marcia Gay Harden's character feels that Lily Tomlin is very irresponsible. She lives like a hippie. She had to cut up all her credit cards because she got into so much debt, and she turned them into a wind chime because she didn't know what else to do with them. She has all kinds of very eccentric friends, very cool but very eccentric, and she agrees to help her granddaughter try to find the $630 she needs to have this medical procedure done. And she takes her around, she goes to all her friends, and she's trying to help her out because she's like, you know what, I'm your grandmother, that's my job, but I don't have the money. And we follow them on their journey to try to find her the help that she needs. And in the meantime, we're trying to mend fences with various people in her life, in Lily Tomlin's life, that her actions have caused her to become estranged from. And that's really all I'm going to tell you, but this is a really wonderful movie. And again, it's about the bonds of family and how sometimes there's certain people in our lives that we go to for things that we can't go, say, to our parents for. We'll go to our grandparents, and you just hope you have a cool grandmother like Lily Tomlin that can help you out in a bind. And this is just a really, really good movie. It is rated R, so this is not a family-friendly movie. Now, this next one, I got this movie because I went to a yard sale that was taking place in my neighborhood, the neighborhood across the street from me, and the guy found out that I was a physical media collector. He just handed me a whole box of random movies, and I found this one in there, and I'm pretty sure it's a bootleg because it's a Netflix movie, and I can't find a physical copy of it anywhere. And as you can see, it's dark, so it's a burned on demand disc, and it's I'm gonna go with that. It's a bootleg. So if you want to watch this, you're gonna have to watch it on Netflix. But it is called The Ritual, and if you haven't seen this one, this is a really, really good, in my opinion, really good folk horror movie. We have 5 friends who take off on an adventure in near, I believe it's Sweden. And yeah, they go to, I believe it's Sweden, but they have to go through this forest, and what is supposed to be a fun, light adventure where they're trying to get to this lodge that they're going to hang out in and just drink and relax and have a nice time together becomes basically a trip through hell because they have to go through these woods. They figure that it's the shortest path, And what happens is, as they are going farther and farther into the woods, they are experiencing just these horrible, horrible things at night, and people start to go missing, things start to happen, and that's all I'm going to say. But they are in a fight for their lives, a fight for their survival. And I will say that this one to me had very much has Wicker Man vibes. Like, it's Wicker Man but turned up. So I would say this is really good. If you like folk horror, definitely go over to Netflix and look for this one. It's called The Ritual. And I don't want to say too much about it because it's very easy to spoil. But this one, I thought it was pretty intense. And I think for a Netflix movie, I thought it was really, really good. So I hadn't heard of it before, so I'm taking the chance that maybe some of you haven't heard of it before, and it's one that I think is worth checking out. So The Ritual is the next one on my list. And this one, this is such a good one. This one's right now put out by, it's an Anchor Bay title, but I do think it might have a Kino Lorber release, and it's called Blue Ruin. And what we have is we have this guy who is, he basically lives in his car. He's kind of a vagrant, lives in his car. He breaks into people's houses when they're not home to take a shower. And what happens is he is approached one day by a police officer, and he thinks he's in trouble, but the police officer wants to let him know she knows who he is. He's back in his childhood town where he grew up. And what she wants to tell him is that the person who was responsible for murdering his parents when he was much younger is being released from prison. And she didn't want him to find out from a stranger. She wanted him to be in a safe space and with someone when he found out this news. And what ends up happening is he starts to seek revenge on the person who killed his parents. And this is a really great movie. It's a slow movie. It's definitely an indie movie. It's like a slow build movie. Definitely an independent movie, but it's a very, very focused movie. Like, you don't have all these side stories to distract you from the main plot. I think this is fantastic. I think it's a really, really good revenge movie. So if you like things like No Country for Old Men, things like that, you're gonna really enjoy Blue Ruin. If you haven't seen it, look it up, do some research on it, and see if it's something that you want to watch, because I think this is a winner. I really enjoyed this one. So that's my next one. Okay, I had to cut away there for a second because I wanted to grab a bonus movie off the shelves, and you'll understand why in a second. This next one is also based on true events, and the movie is called Skin. It stars Jamie Bell and Danielle McDonald. And Skin is the story of this guy, he goes by the name of Byron. And he's a guy that fell in with a family who took in kids that were like runaways, orphans, foster kids, whatever. And he's one of these kids that were taken in by this family. But the family, they were white supremacists, and they raised these kids to be part of the white supremacist movement. And you can see he's got the face tattoos and the whole deal going on, and he goes to the meetings, and he's very much living that lifestyle that this family has taken him into. And what happens is he meets a young gal at one of these meetings, she's played by Danielle McDonald, and she has 3 daughters, and they have a subsequent romance. He falls in love with her. Then he decides he wants to be a better person, and that this lifestyle does not suit him, and he is stuck between the person he loves, the life he wants to live, and the life he has kind of promised himself to through this family that has been taking care of him for his young adult life. And this is his journey, and it's so good, it's so moving, and it's such a testament to the human spirit when people want to change for good. And I just thought this was really fantastic. Now, I don't know how readily available this is on physical anymore. It could be out of print, but I looked, and it is streaming on several streaming services. So if you get an opportunity, definitely take a look at Skin. It is well worth it, and you'll be pretty impressed with it. It has some good special features about the real guy. I'm hoping that some of the special features would be available on streaming, but I don't know. But that film made me want to grab this film, because this one also stars Danielle McDonald, and I never hear anyone talk about this film, and it is so much fun. It's such a great film, and it's called Patty Cakes. And what Patty Cakes is about is, again, Danielle McDonald plays the main character, and she is a white girl from New Jersey, my home state, And all she wants to do is be a rap star. She wants to be a rapper. That's her whole mission in life. That's her whole goal. And we follow her on that. And this is so much fun. It's quirky. It's great. It's got a great soundtrack. It's very catchy. And I think you're really going to enjoy it. So if you haven't seen Patty Cakes, or you've never heard of it, probably you've never heard of it, definitely look it up and check it out. And even if you just watch it streaming, it is well worth it. It's a really, really fun movie, and really good. I really, really enjoy this one. So I wanted to mention Patty Cakes, since I was mentioning Danielle McDonald anyway. Okay, and this next one is a movie that was directed by Clint Eastwood, and he also plays a part in it. It also stars Kevin Costner, and it's called A Perfect World. And I'm sure some of you have seen this, and if you haven't seen it, you've probably heard of it, but this is a fantastic movie. Definitely, definitely fantastic movie. It's a pretty simple premise. Kevin Costner plays a man by the name of Butch who has escaped prison. He's on the run, and he ends up taking a hostage, a little boy who he takes hostage, and he doesn't have any intention of hurting the kid, but along their journey, he kind of forms a bond with the little guy because the kid does not have a father figure in his life, and he kind of starts to look up to this guy Butch as a father figure, and they are on the run together. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to get into any more. I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen it. But what I can tell you is I laughed and I cried and I felt everything in between. But I think this is a fantastic movie. I think it's so good. If you have not seen A Perfect World, definitely put it on your list to watch because you will not be disappointed. It's a good one, but there's not much I can say without spoiling it. So I had to keep that one very brief. Now, this one is one I watched recently, rewatched recently. I've seen this many, many times, and I watched it because it has a new 4K release. Now, I know there's a Steelbook. I got a Steelbook version of this a couple years ago, and I don't think it was a 4K. I think this is the first time to 4K. This is a Warner Brothers title. It's 4K Blu-ray and digital code. It's just coming out this week, I believe. And it's Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. It stars Johnny Depp. It is a Tim Burton film, and whatever you think of Tim Burton, whatever you think of Johnny Depp, whatever you think of their collaborations, I highly, highly recommend you at least give this one a chance. This is fantastic. And I will tell you something that will let you know that this is really a decent movie, because if you've been around the channel long enough, you know I am not a fan of musicals. And this is a musical. I believe it was a play. I think it was on Broadway. It may have been in London too, because the movie takes place in London, but it's a musical, but it's like a gothic horror musical. It's amazing. It is so, so good. Johnny Depp plays a guy who was happily married. He had a wife and a little baby, and another man who had more power and money and whatnot had designs for his wife and got Johnny Depp out of the picture for 15 years so that he could have the wife and daughter. And what is going on is Johnny Depp is going back. He is now this dark, sinister character, and he is returning to London after being away for 15 years to try to find his wife and daughter and reconnect with them. And what happens is he ends up seeking revenge on the people who separated him from his family, in terms of he opens a barber shop, barbers work with razors, so you could imagine what happened. But this is a bloody, gory good time. It's dark, it's creepy, it's gothic, it's horror, it's singing, it's got everything. And it screams Tim Burton. So, but whether you're a Tim Burton fan or not, I think you're really going to like this one because it is a fantastic movie and Johnny Depp is awesome in it. I love this one. I could watch this anytime, anywhere. So I would say check out Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. You will not be disappointed. And the 4K is gorgeous. So definitely give this one a chance. Now this next one, I knew the story because, anyone my age or older or even a little younger, pretty much all of us know this story. It's the story of Chappaquiddick. And I knew the story, but this shed light on new details. Now, I don't know how much creative liberties were taken in the making of these things because, that's what happens with these, biopic type stories. But I have heard and read that this is pretty accurate to what really happened. But it stars Jason Clarke, Kate Mara, Ed Helms, and Bruce Dern. And it is Chappaquiddick. It's the American scandal that changed history. And this is the story of Ted Kennedy and the accident that took place in 1969, where he drove his car off the Chappaquiddick Bridge, and a gal, Mary Jo Kopechne, was in the back seat and she drowned. She died. And this is the story of that night and how allegedly Ted Kennedy and his crew handled the situation. And I was absolutely blown away when I saw this movie, because I mean, I grew up hearing about this incident and what happened, but I never actually saw anything laid out like hour by hour with all the details. And like I said, from what I've read and the research I've done, it seems like this is a pretty accurate telling of what happened on that fateful night. And if you have any interest in these events, I would highly recommend checking this one out. Even if you have no interest in it, just see it, because it's something that we all need to know about. And it's a part of American history, so I think it's well worth the watch. And it's a very well done story, and the movie's very well done, and it actually imparts, it made me so angry. It just made me so angry, but I'm glad I know what I know. So that's where I'm going to leave it. Now, this last one is a movie that is, I'm going to say right off the top, it is not going to be for everyone. Number one, it's almost 3 hours long. Number two, it is set up like a Broadway play. It is like you are watching a Broadway play. Other than that, this is a brilliant, brilliant movie by the great Lars von Trier. It's called Dogville, and it stars Nicole Kidman. This is a German version, but these are all the people who are in it. You can probably see their faces. Hopefully that's clear. But I can't tell you anything that's on the back of it because it's all in German. But this is available on Amazon. This is fantastic. The 3 hours flew by. Nicole Kidman plays a gal who shows up in this little town called Dogville. She shows up there one night. She is on the run from the mob. We don't know why. So the people who are in the town tell her, you can stay here. The guy who's kind of the head of the town says, you can stay here. I'll convince the other, there's maybe 15 people that live in the town. He says, I will convince the other people who live here to let you stay. So they have a meeting. They tell her that she can stay, but in order to stay, she has to work for them. She has to work for her place in the community. So she does tasks for the various people that have little, little shops or houses, and they need things done. And all of a sudden, as time goes on, she finds out that there are a lot of strings attached to the work that she's being asked to perform. And this takes a very, very dark turn, I would say around the midway point of the movie. And when it came right down to it, it was just, by the ending of this movie, it was just, to me, it was just a complete brilliant experience is all I can say. It was just absolutely blew me away. I was almost speechless. It was so, so good. I think this is a brilliant movie. I think it's one of Lars von Trier's best. And I'm a big fan of him anyway, but I think this is one of his best. Now, what I will tell you is when I say it's set up like a Broadway play, like if you're looking at the set, it's basically like they're on a wood floor, and if it's supposed to be a house, you just see like tape on the ground where the house is, or you see tape on the ground where the church is. And that's how simplistic the set design is. It's a very, very basic set design. I don't even think there's a score. I don't even think there was music playing in this. There's some singing that people do in the church, but I don't even think there's a score going on. It's very much a play, but brilliant. You'll be blown away by this if you can deal with the 3-hour runtime and the very unconventional storytelling, but so, so good. And I would absolutely watch this again anytime, anywhere, in a minute. No problem. So that's my last pick, and I hope that you found a few things out of these piles that you like or that sound interesting to you. Maybe you haven't seen them before. Maybe you want to see them again. But definitely check into these, and I hope you find, something to enjoy. But I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you who take the time to click on these videos and hopefully enjoy the content. We do everything here from movie recommendations, collection overviews, hauls, all kinds of things going on. If it has to do with physical media, I do it here. So if you like this kind of content, please hit the subscribe button and consider hitting the notification bell so you know when I upload. And I'm going to be back real soon because I have a lot of new things to show you. You can see I have a new little setup back here. I've been working hard on getting the room together, so things are coming together, and sooner than later I will be done with the mess that is this room. But for now, that's going to do it for me. So I'm going to go upstairs and hang out with my puppies and enjoy the night. I hope you have a great night and a great Labor Day. I'll see you in the next one. So for today, that's a wrap.